Hello, and welcome to Kajiggles Tanks. I am your host, Kajiggles. So this is a 1 month update on my Fluval Flex 15 aquarium. So it is a planted aquarium, and a lot has changed since I've done a video on the tank. I wanted to give it some time to mature, and I've also added some new fish and other inhabitants to the tank, and I just wanted to give them some time to get used to their new home before doing any videos. So I first started off this tank a little bit more than a month ago. Had it set up with the plants and the driftwood and the rock before doing anything else, make sure it was cycled, and the two fish that I started were two dwarf gouramis. Now, unfortunately, I only have one dwarf gourami. So about a week and a half ago, I came into the room with the tank, and one of the gouramis was on the floor and died. So what I think happened was there's only one spot on the tank that it could get out, which was the feeding hole on the lid. So what I did notice before that was there was some aggression between the two gouramis. I think it was too small of a tank for the two of them. So I was going to take the gourami that I actually have left out because that gourami was being bullied more than the other one. So I was thinking about doing that like in a day or two, seeing how things were going before really changing that. I also don't have another tank, so I was going to have to set up another tank. So seeing if I really needed to do that. But I think what happened was this fish was getting bullied so much that it fought back and was chasing the other fish and had the other fish jump out of the tank. And it died, which was really sad. I only had the fish for 2 weeks at that point, but it was very sad to see that happen, especially because I thought it was something that I could change so that didn't happen, so that really hurt. Earlier this week, though, I added 3 Otocinclus Ottos and 2 Amano shrimp, and I had a pretty bad algae issue in the tank. It was still manageable, and I could have done other things in the tank to make it not as an issue, but after it became somewhat of an issue, I did some research, and I was already going to get some Amanos, but then I decided, all right, I'm going to get some Ottos, and they'll help clean up the tank. So after the algae was getting to that point, then I let the algae grow more so that when I did get the Ottos, they would have enough algae for them to consume right away before they start eating other foods, which worked out really well. Maybe I'll include some pictures that I took beforehand with all the algae. I bought 3 of them earlier this week, and I only have 2 left. Some of you might know Ottos are very finicky. There weren't any physical signs that the one was having any issues, but I woke up 2 days after I got it, and it was floating at the top of the tank. Nothing that I could do. The other 2 Ottos, they seem very happy. They like being around each other. There's a lot of little small spots that they can go in. Go on the driftwood, on the rock, on the sides of glass, so of course on the plants. So I know Ottos usually like being in groups. So I was starting with 3 to see how they did, and then I was planning on getting more. They have done really, really well with cleaning the tank, and I really just like seeing them in the tank and looking for them, seeing where they're at. They look cute. They're little tiny fish. So I'm still planning on getting more because I think that's going to be beneficial for them and the tank, probably 3 to 4 more, and we'll go from there. So I was also sad to see that one of the Ottos had passed away too. So The other thing that I've added in the tank is 2 Amano shrimp. Now, where I'm at, Amanos are very expensive at my local fish shop. So I only purchased 2. I've never had any type of shrimp before. This is my first tank by myself. I had tanks with my family growing up, but with my parents, but nothing like this. Also, we never really did planted tanks. So I only did 2 to see how they were doing. Now, my gourami does seem like it's somewhat aggressive, so I was worried that the gourami ate the shrimp because the gourami was looking pretty fat and I could not find the shrimp. Also, the Amano shrimp were on the smaller side. I chose Amanos because 1, they're awesome at cleaning, and 2, because they will grow bigger, so then there's not much worry about the gourami trying to go after them. Well, I could only, I looked the past few days, I could not find them at all. Then last night, I saw one hiding over by the driftwood, and then this morning, I saw one out and about in the tank, swimming all around shortly after the lights turned on. So I think, the lights turned on, something different, in its environment. So that's what I was doing, and it's probably hiding again now. So I know at least one of them is still here. I think maybe one was victim to the gourami, which is pretty sad. So I also like looking around, seeing where the Amanos are, where the Ottos are. And then the gourami, goes, up and down in the tank. Doing much better now that this gourami is the only one in the tank. Seems to be much healthier, not beaten up at all. And everything else in the tank is doing pretty well. Like the plants, there was some, dying away, some leaves and stuff like that, because there was a significant amount of algae in the tank, especially on the Nubius in the back. But the Nubius has a new leaf, which is awesome. They're usually slow growing, so to see that is really nice. There is a lot of new growth, especially in this plant in the front. It's a mat plant. It's growing up more vertically than spreading. So maybe I'm going to cut that down a bit so that it spreads out more. This other plant, though, it is doing shoots like crazy. So compared to the original plant, you can see the plant weight still connected. So those are new growth right there. Then there's some new growth happening right here. And then there's some growing out of the mat plant as well. So it is doing really well. And then this plant in the back, kind of harder to tell like what the new growth is, but you can definitely see that the top plants are much more green than the bottom. So it's definitely been growing, but to see like, oh yes, this is new, is a little bit harder. So I've really enjoyed everything in the tank so far. Like I said, I think I'm gonna get a few more Ottos to, have the group. They'll probably be happy about that. And I might get a small schooling fish, maybe a Tetra or Rasbora, in the next few weeks, and then that's going to be the last thing that I add to the tank. I don't want to be adding too much and stuff like that. So I'm really enjoying how the tank has turned out. Love just watching it. It's very relaxing. And everything is going well so far. Alright, so I'm going to be doing some new videos here pretty soon. So if you want to check them out, that'd be awesome. Thanks for watching. Have a good day.